Yes, Aaron Finch, the captain of the Australian one-day and T20 teams, the holder of the highest individual T20 international score, 172 runs back in 2013. Premiership captain with the Melbourne Renegades, much to my chagrin, but he's I have to mention it anyway. And he joins us on the line this morning. Go, Finchy.
Morning, guys. How are you?
Great to have you, pal. Hey, now tell us about this, because when we promote that you're coming on the show, and we say that Aaron Finch and the Australian cricket team will be leaving on Monday to go to England to play cricket, our heads almost fall off, don't they? I mean, what's going on? How does it work? Tell me. I mean, England, the place is full of COVID-19. What are the precautions? What's in your mind? The microphone's yours. What's going on?
There's been a huge amount of work that's gone on behind the scenes, obviously, between all the governments, or the UK and the Australian government, the Cricket Australia, the ECB, all our medical staff as well. So I think that we're in the best hands. We jump on a flight out of Perth, fly straight in to Derby, and then we're there for a couple of days while the England and Pakistan series is still going on. And then on the back of that, we head down to Southampton. We've got a training base, a really secure bio bubble that makes sure that anyone who's coming in and out is heavily screened. And I think once you're in the bubble, you're actually in it for the full time. So it's going to be exciting to have live sport back. We've seen the impact that having the AFL back and then the NBA and baseball and things like that have had. It's been brilliant. So we can't wait to get back into it.
There's been some good news coming through the UK that they are actually opening up, and as you said, you're going to be in a pretty tight bubble, but people in the UK getting some semblance of their life back. Finch, how about the build-up to it? Not your normal way to train. How have you got around that? What have you been doing to prepare for this trip away?
Yeah, it's been really interesting. The first couple of weeks or months, I guess, was just by ourselves, just doing our own fitness stuff and really limited in our skills. And then once Victoria started their full pre-season training again, we just joined in with that, which was, as much as I've avoided pre-season for the last 8 or 9 years, it's been really good to get back and be able to dedicate a bit more time and effort into that area. And probably the last 2.5 or 3 weeks, myself and Glenn Maxwell being the only 2 Victorians on that squad, we've been able to train, but in a really isolated sort of environment. We can't train in the gym when the rest of the group's there. We do our separate running sessions, and then when we train bat versus ball or our skills, that's more of a sort of social distancing on steroids type of thing, where we're still really separated from the group, just to reduce any kind of risk of contracting anything.
Well, you look fit, mate. Have you dropped some weight? You actually look really fit.
Yeah, I'm probably in the best nick I've been in my career, and I think that just comes on the back of having travelled the world and played non-stop for the last 8 or 9 years. You just get into a rhythm of just getting up for the next game, and then you're on a plane, and then you're playing the next game, and it just sort of continues on. That's through my some poor habits along the way too, no doubt. But I think
it's very hard to walk past the buffet, isn't it? I mean, being serious. I mean, some of the footballers at the moment are finding that, Das, as well. They're doing everything right, but when the food's there, you tend to eat it, and it only needs to be half a portion more every day, and suddenly you've eaten 4 extra.
It's the great trap. The interstate trip for footy players, you eat 10 times more than you normally would. But Finch, talk us through what your next 6 months potentially looks like. We know the AFL players for the first time had to have some time away from home, but can you just give us a bit of a snapshot of what your world's potentially going to look like in the coming months?
Yeah, the tour of the UK lasts just under 30 days, I think, and then on the back of that, there'll be a handful of us, maybe 8 or 10, going straight from there to Dubai to the IPL, where that's a little bit over 2 months. And I know that bio bubble type scenario is going to be as tight as what we're going to experience in the UK. So there'll be no leaving the hotel unless you're training or playing, social distancing, no use of communal areas of the hotel. So that'll be a really, really tough lockdown. And then when we get home, they're still working out the details and where the virus is moving and how we can sort of avoid it as best we can. But the Big Bash might look to be in hubs or some key points around Australia where we can play that as unrestricted as we can in the current environment. So that could lead us into the next sort of 5 months, and then you've got the test guys who will get back from Dubai, who are in a quarantine bubble, and then playing the test series, and then probably through until March, I reckon. Maybe February or March. A lot of guys will be in that scenario and in that bubble for that entire period of time.
from this week until March next year. And now, Finch's greatest achievement, aside from being the captain of the one day and the T20, is the fact that he managed to marry Amy, our old friend from Triple M. Here, Amy. So, morning to Amy. So, what happens there? Do you give Amy a kiss and say, "I'll see you in March"? I mean, how much time do you get with the family?
Well, I don't know, honestly, the answer to that. It's been a little bit awkward around here as well because she's had to do the hard quarantine like we've been. So, obviously, with the stage 4 restrictions, you can go to the supermarket and things like that. But because of the amount of virus, Cricket Australia have said it's best for you guys not to go to the supermarket, get everything delivered. We've got a coffee shop 2 doors away that we can't go to. But we've got a great neighbour who drops us off some coffees every morning. But so we've been literally locked down unless I go into the junction over the train, and then it'll be. I know Cricket Australia are working really hard to try and find some times for guys to be able to get back to their families, whether it's bringing families in or players going out for a couple of days or a week or a couple of weeks here and there. Just to make sure that there is that mental health is being looked after as well as physical stuff.
Yeah, and it's hard, particularly for a batsman, if you get into a bad form slump as well. Geez, things exacerbate it. It really makes it hard.
Don't start me off like that, Ed.
I'm just saying that not for you, mate. You're going to go there.
You're trying to get into Finch's kitchen, eh?
Mate, I just made 172. He's won the grand final off his own bat. He's everything. He's flying. Don't worry about that. But I'm just saying there are things, of course, for any sportsman. It's always good to be winning. Now, Finchy, disappointing for all of us that the World T20 Championship was cancelled, with the final being played in Melbourne. As the captain, there was this great opportunity for you, obviously, to lead us to victory. But hopefully this thing's going to come back. What it does mean, of course, it's everything's been pushed back, but there's going to be a hell of a lot of cricket and a lot of excitement. And right in your prime, last part of your career over the next 3 or 4 years, if you like, that there's just going to be stuff going everywhere. So have you really just thought, right, okay, I'm going to just go for it here. This is going to be my time, the next 3, 4 years, bang, flat out, whatever it takes.
Yeah, absolutely. Having World T20 moved to 2022 was really disappointing. Obviously, it was going to be a huge event, especially on the back of the success that the Women's World Cup had, and Australia winning that on home soil, which was amazing, and that they played brilliant cricket. So that was disappointing not to cash in on that momentum and probably the momentum that would build up as a T20 team. But I think having that moved to 2022, we've got another T20 World Cup in 2021 in India, and then the 2023 50-over World Cup in India. So the next 3 years are just going to be full of ICC tournaments, which when there's a World Cup on the line, you do everything that you can to try and make yourself or put your team in the best position to have a real crack at that. And I think that we're well on the way to that. We're in the T20 space. We're a team that come from, I think, 6th or 7th in the world. We're sitting at number 1 on the rankings at the moment, and we've improved at a really good rate. So the challenge for us now is to replicate that with one-day cricket, and losing the the 50-over semi-final in England last year was disappointing, but obviously we can build on that and get to a point where we can really challenge for that 2023 World Cup.
I highly recommend, if you haven't, everyone's looking for stuff at the moment, go and watch The Test on Amazon Prime, Adrian Brown's documentary, and Finchy features heavily, and it's brilliant insight into the mind of Finchy, who was going through a bit of a rough patch at times, but the way he fought his way out of it, sensational 8-part series, The Test. It's on Amazon Prime. You can get a free trial if you want to check it out. Really worth doing. Great insight into Aaron Finch, the captain.
There is another way to see Finchy in action at the moment.
How do you do
Let's not let this one go. He is becoming a TikTok sensation, is the mail that I'm hearing, Finchy. Now, it's not
the dogs.
It's not my line of sight, but the mail has come through pretty strongly. David Warner, he's gone mad on TikTok. He's doing Bollywood songs, and he is may well be the number 1 sportsman in the world at the moment on TikTok. TikTok, and particularly in India. But mate, you're going pretty well. How many followers you got on the TikTok at the moment? I understand you've had 4.5 million views of you and your dog.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore. That was that's when the first round of lockdown really started to sink in, and my wife she'd done a couple on it, and she said, right, we're doing a few of these, set up an account, but we canned that pretty quick. But the thing about TikTok and David Warner is that he hides behind the fact that he's got 3 kids. And he says, oh, I'm doing it for the kids. The kids wanted to do this, but it's not really. He loves every bit of it, and he loves the attention.
Well, mate, You're going to have our attention, Aaron. Good luck over there in England. You're one of the most personable sports people and an absolute champion, a great leader. And we wish you all the best, mate. It is going to be a torrid time for you, but I love the way that you look at the positivity of it as a professional sports person, but also representing your country, and you do so in such a magnificent way. So congratulations on everything you've achieved so far, buddy. We wish you all the best. Stay well, stay safe, and win for Australia, mate.
Thanks very much, guys.